Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. I keep coming back trying to say this or that based upon what is being said to me on any given moment. Whether it's good, meaning bring some enlightenment to me, and that being the case, then I want to share it with you so that as I grow, at least I share with you so you can make a choice if you'd like to get in on it or pass it up. Thing about it is I'm looking at the problems that we want to resolve. I'm looking at some people call them theorists. And it's kind of difficult when you start thinking about the secret societies that exist. It seems that everything going on has some kind of secret association. And so we got so many people that's connected with the operations of our daily lives at various levels of government and just social being. And we think that perhaps they have one another or our interest as they're concerned, but you never really know because there's something that's always going on that is secret. And you look at the results of what is going on and you find out that perhaps it's not as you would have it be, and you don't understand why, because the best and the brightest are the ones that's supposed to be taking care of business, and yet business seems to be, on the one hand, accepted and rated as doing spectacular, and on the other hand, you see a whole bunch of things that would make that a false statement. And you listen on the media, you don't find anybody talking about solutions. You go on the social media, Facebook, internet, you know there's a lot of talking going on there. And everybody, all of you, are identifying problems. Different, but problems nonetheless. So many problems identified until all of the problems across the board are identified. And they are constantly looking for more specification to suggest how authentic these individual problems are. And I listen personally, and I'm seeing that everybody is pointing fingers. So many fingers, in fact, that they fail to recognize or get that these things exist because everybody is a part of the problem. Everyone is a part of the problem. Being used, not knowing, or knowing and going along with it. And that is exactly why the problems exist. It's been trained, it's been planted from your birth to this date of to be a, I hate to use the word slave, but in fact a slave to the status quo. And everything outside of that is forbidden. Some people used to have a faith, something that called about a God, and they saw that having some effect in the social existence of the community. And so they decided to bar God out, leave all of that out. And so God is relegated now to street corners and buildings and a lot of money, books, programs, speaking engagements, tithes and offerings. I mean, big time living. And they are allowed to exist because it is of no consequence to the status quo. They know that. But there are some genuine people amongst the folk who really want to know the truth, and they are hungry for it, and they are easily misguided because they don't see the symbols, the real truth. If they saw the real truth, they'd wake up, but they don't see the real truth. See, out of all these people that's talking, even people such as I, we're speaking to you about these things. Nobody comes up with a solution. Nobody's suggesting a solution that you hear about. It doesn't really mean that no one is suggesting a solution. It's just that you're not getting any information about the solution. And why aren't you getting any information about the solution? It's because those people who are telling you about the problems, they could pick up on the solution. They could bring it out there to you. But they don't expect the solutions to come the way that it is being presented at the levels where they might see it at. So they just cast that down. They've judged it and say, no way, Jose, I'm not wasting my time on that, because they're looking for it to come a different kind of way. And so the powers that be know exactly what's going on with it. And they are not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole unless somebody starts listening. Then they will get taking care of business on their end. So here we are. Out of all these years that I've been speaking about, the world is set up from the beginning of time. When I say that, I'm talking about all people. The fruits of the earth are there to be used to satisfy every human being or every living thing that requires something of the earth in order to survive. Every one set up such that that can happen. Everyone is responsible for their own commitment to truth, their own commitment to the spirit that they cannot see, but they can exhibit quite well. They can exhibit it quite well if they choose to. And that is really, truly, as I see it, the purpose of human existence, at least to do that in order that we might survive. We can see that when we don't do that, we see the consequences of it. What did I start talking to you guys about this for? People. If you got a secret, you don't want others to know about it. You got your reasons for not wanting them to know about it. But when you have no secrets, when you're transparent, when you can stand before the people and say, these secrets are set up, all of them, to play major roles in the conditions of the world today, in the condition of its people, where some, as we look at it, seems to have so much and their barns are overflowing and they still aren't satisfied. And there are people who have been caught under such dire conditions that they have no place to live. They are traveling in boats trying to get from one place to another, looking for some place that they might be able to settle down, squatter down, knowing all at the same time that they are going to be exploited by people like you and I, taking advantage of them because they're in need of something. They're in need of something. And this is what the people who got the barns that's overflowing wants, because now it gives you power over people. Have you ever heard about a crackhead? You could get a crackhead possibly to do almost anything just for a hit of crack. You can get them to do almost anything for a hit of crack. You can get people who are destitute, females who are destitute, who need some money, to come and do things for men just to get money. We're talking about what's happening in Hollywood. how these guys have used their positions to exploit women. And we're pointing a finger, but I'd like to ask you women who haven't been exploited like that. Had you been in the same position, do you know what you would have done? I know you're thinking and saying to yourselves that you wouldn't have done what they did. I'm telling you, you would have done exactly what they did. Some of you would have walked away, and many of you would have stayed right there. Just like there are thousands of people who have not come out and said anything, but they went through the same darn thing because to them it was the way to get up. They did not want to live the kind of life that the human race has been dealt under the kind of systems that we live under. And so they have been driven to do those just like other guys have been driven to lie, cheat, or steal to get us to survive. All of this because they have been denied the true fruit blessings of life for survival and dream coming true by those whose bonds are overflowing. Whether this is legal or not, it's not right. And so, as I'm thinking about how we might be pointing a finger at Donald Trump, yes, Donald Trump is everything that people are saying about him. And all those people behind Donald Trump are just what you were thinking about them. But at the same time, you got just I might not be able to put my finger on your position, but whatever it is, you are just as guilty of it. It is just as divisive of the reality of things as that you are pointing your finger at. And basically what I'm saying to you, unless you're trying to fix this problem, you need to be quiet. Unless you're trying to fix this problem, you need to be quiet. We are not talking about, it's time to stop talking about what the problem is. We know what that is. We don't need any more research on what the problem is. We don't want to know who is having sex with whom. We don't want to know who's funny and who's not. We want to know how to bring peace and prosperity and joy to the lives of everybody. We want to make sure that every human being who has a universal, a common necessity for survival, like food and clothing and shelter and education and health care, that they get it, no way they can miss it, and that everybody have a career of their own choosing, meaning they got a job that they can put their hands to the plow and be a part of the creative process of making those goods and services available to the people. And it doesn't cost a penny, ladies and gentlemen. It's the truth about life. It's how your dreams can come true. You don't have to be working from sun up to sundown all of this time of a year, straining yourself, missing out on life, growing old, and missing the kinds of things that you could have been doing, not taking away from your work. You'll have a chance to have a good time in it. But there are so many people who want to work in the same field that you're working in. They need that time to indulge themselves, to participate so they can feel good about the peace and prosperity and joy that they themselves are helping create, because their needs are being met. Do I have to spell it out any plainer than that? You know this is not happening through the other conversations, but are you going to share this with anyone else? If you don't share with anyone else, you're saying it's no good. You're saying it's stupid. You're saying it's a waste of everybody's time, and you're going to make sure it doesn't waste your time. If you can't stand up and say, I am for peace, and I want to do unto others as I want others to do unto me, because I don't want anybody messing over me. So I'm not going to mess over anybody. Come on, y'all. This is outsmart them. See, they think, since we are not of a secret society, we are transparent. They think that we are stupid. They think that we are ignorant. They think we're crazy. They don't know that we know of their scheme. And those who do know or believe that we do know or believe we know of their scheme don't care. Because what are we going to do about it? Who are we? We are at what they call the low lives, because we allowed them to put us in a position to make a choice, and we made that choice. They didn't know that we recognized we made that choice, and as we made that choice, we could change that choice at any moment in time. We get ready to change that choice. And now, since we are being dealt with the most ugliest part of them, to see that they are not just going to change on their own, they're not just going to let peace and joy trickle down. They're going to be there trying to stomp us. We're going to flip the script. We're going to wake up and put that foot out the way by not only demanding that they get the thing off of us, but that they straighten it up, because we are not going to settle for it going any other way. Not because we're trying to love each other so much, but because we're putting our faith in something else other than just we, the people. We're putting our faith in something that we can't touch, a spirit, something that's unseen, but the evidence has been there to convince us that now we are the instruments. We are the instruments of that manifestation, that miraculousness that we all pray for. We are the ones that manifested. We are the ones, by that same spirit that we pray to, that same spirit that is responsible at all. We are the instruments of it. We are our own blessing to one another. And we've just eliminated that other junk out of the way. I didn't really mean to talk this long, but it started getting good as I started forgetting. And here I am thinking I better close it right now, give you a chance to go have a glass of water. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.